Hello and welcome to this edition of News Today. Without delay, let's have a look at the headlines first. President must decide on bills reserved by governor, says Supreme Court. International Maritime Organization approves net zero framework for global shipping. Mauritius became the first African country to sign ISA's country partnership framework. Ministry of Law issues directive to minimize litigation involving central government. India's raw silk production increased from 31.9 thousand MT in 2017-18 to 38.9 thousand MT in 2023-24. Study reveals widespread absorption of airborne microplastics by plant leaves. In a significant ruling in the state of Tamil Nadu versus Governor of Tamil Nadu case, the Supreme Court of India has laid down clear timelines for the President's decision on bills reserved by governors under Article 201 of the Constitution. This decision marks a crucial step in ensuring legislative clarity and cooperative federalism. Let's dive into the details. Article 201 of the Constitution deals with the President's assent to state bills, granting the President the authority to either assent to the bill, withhold assent, or return it, in the case of non-money bills, to the state legislature for reconsideration. However, a major issue with Article 201 is that it does not prescribe any time limit for the President to act, which means that bills can be retained indefinitely without any decision. Recognizing this gap, both the Sarkaria Commission 1983 and the Panchi Commission 2007 recommended that there should be a prescribed timeline for the President to take a decision on such bills. This would ensure that the process is not delayed arbitrarily and would prevent the indefinite retention of state bills. As per the key observations of the court, the President must make a decision within 3 months on any bill that has been reserved for assent. Furthermore, if the President chooses to withhold assent, the reasons for doing so must be clearly stated and communicated to the concerned state government. The judgment also underlines the importance of state cooperation. States are expected to respond promptly to any queries and seriously consider suggestions made by the central government. In cases where no action is taken by the President within the stipulated time, the states have the right to file writ petitions seeking a writ of mandamus, compelling the President to act. The court made it clear that the President does not have the power of absolute veto, meaning he or she cannot indefinitely delay a decision on a bill. To clarify, absolute veto refers to the power to withhold assent to a bill, which the court says cannot be exercised by simply sitting on a bill without action. The ruling also brings attention to the need for pre-legislation consultation. States are now expected to consult the central government before introducing bills that require presidential assent. In turn, the centre must consider such proposals from states with due seriousness and act without undue delay. Finally, under Article 143, if a bill is reserved by the governor on the grounds of unconstitutionality, the President should seek the Supreme Court's advice to ensure legal and constitutional consistency. This landmark judgment sets a precedent in streamlining the legislative process and reinforcing constitutional accountability at both state and central levels. The International Maritime Organization, or IMO, has approved the net zero framework for global shipping. This is a historic move as it becomes the first framework in the world to combine mandatory emissions limits with greenhouse gas pricing across an entire industry sector. To understand the scale of this issue, it is important to note that the shipping currently accounts for almost 3% of global greenhouse gas emissions. This makes the sector a significant contributor to climate change and a vital area for action. Now let's dive into the key features of the IMO Net Zero framework. The framework will be included in Annex 6 of MARPOL, that is the section dedicated to the prevention of air pollution from ships under the International Convention for the Prevention of Pollution from Ships. The main aim? Well, to reach net zero emissions by or around 2050. To achieve this, ships will have to comply with two major measures. First, a global fuel standard, which will require ships to reduce their annual greenhouse gas fuel intensity or GFI over time. This means that vessels must cut down the amount of greenhouse gases emitted for each unit of energy used. Second, the framework introduces a global economic measure, Under this, ships that exceed their allowed GHG fuel intensity thresholds will need to acquire remedial units to balance out their deficit emissions. On the flip side, ships that adopt zero or near zero GHG technologies will be rewarded financially. A key element of this system is the IMO Net Zero Fund, which will be set up to collect pricing contributions based on emissions. As for the timeline, formal adoption is expected in October 2025 and the framework is set to enter into force in 2027. Once implemented, compliance will become mandatory for large ocean-going ships over 5,000 gross tonnage, a category that accounts for 85% of the total carbon dioxide emissions from international shipping. Let's now take a quick look at MARPOL, the convention under which this framework will operate. MARPOL is the main international convention aimed at the prevention of pollution from ships caused by operational or accidental causes. It was adopted by the International Maritime Organization in 1973. The IMO is a specialized agency of the United Nations tasked with regulating maritime transport. MARPOL is organized into 6 annexes, with each one addressing a specific type of pollution. So, in summary, this net zero framework marks a bold and much needed step forward in tackling emissions from international shipping, ensuring that the oceans remain not only a route for trade, but also a partner in sustainability. Mauritius has recently made history by becoming the first African country to sign the Country Partnership Framework or CPF with the International Solar Alliance or ISA. The CPF is a strategic initiative designed to strengthen long and medium-term collaboration between ISA and its member countries, aiming to accelerate the transition to clean energy through collaborative solar energy projects. Let's first look at ISA in detail. The International Solar Alliance is a treaty-based intergovernmental organization that seeks to promote solar energy as a sustainable solution for energy access and climate change mitigation. It was jointly launched by India and France in 2015 during the COP21 summit in Paris, and its headquarters is located in Gurugram, Haryana. As of March 2025, ISA has 104 member countries that have signed and ratified its framework agreement. Notably, following an amendment in 2020, all UN member states are now eligible to become members of ISA. ISA operates under the ambitious Towards 1000 strategy, which is driven by 3 key goals. Firstly, it seeks to mobilize USD 1,000 billion in solar energy investments by the year 2030. Secondly, it aims to provide clean energy access to 1,000 million people. Thirdly, it plans to install 1,000 gigawatt of solar energy capacity. Collectively, these efforts are expected to offset 1,000 million tons of carbon dioxide emissions annually, marking a significant contribution to global climate goals. To support its mission, ISA has launched several important initiatives. One such initiative is the SolarX Startup Challenge, which provides grants and business acceleration support to entrepreneurs and startups working in the solar sector. Additionally, ISA runs the Star C initiative that focuses on enhancing the institutional and solar technical capacity of member countries. Moreover, the Global Solar Facility serves as a payment guarantee fund aimed at stimulating investment in solar energy projects by reducing financial risk. In parallel, the Green Hydrogen Innovation Center has been established to explore the synergies between solar energy and green hydrogen technologies. Moving further, India plays a pivotal role in ISA as a co-founding country and continues to lead global solar initiatives such as the One Sun, One World, One Grid or OSOWOG program, which promotes the international integration of solar power networks. Furthermore, India also offers solar project funding, training and technology transfer to member nations, especially in Africa and Asia. India is also providing assistance of 100 crore rupees per year to ISA to help energy transition, especially in developing and emerging economies. Next, we move to an important update from the Ministry of Law that could significantly impact how legal matters involving the central government are handled. In a move aimed at promoting good governance, public welfare and timely dispensation of justice, the ministry has issued a new directive titled Directive for the Efficient and Effective Management of Litigation by Government of India. Now, what is the aim of this directive? Well, it is designed to serve as a standard operating procedure for litigation management, ensuring legal matters are handled more systematically. The directive is applicable to all central government ministries and departments, including their attached and subordinate offices. It also extends to autonomous bodies and arbitration matters involving central public sector enterprises or CPSEs. And while it directly addresses the central government, state governments may also consider adopting this directive for better litigation practices. But what exactly is litigation? Let's break it down. It is the process of settling disputes through the judicial system, whether in criminal or civil courts. The objectives of litigation include ensuring justice and the rule of law, settling conflicts, safeguarding rights, and promoting the public good. However, there are negative effects of litigation. It is often time-consuming, complex, and can lead to significant delays in resolution. According to a Supreme Court observation, 70% of government litigation is considered frivolous and could be curtailed to reduce the burden on the courts. Moving on, let's take a closer look at the challenges the government currently faces in litigation management. First up is the concentration of litigation. To give you an idea, the central government is a party in nearly 7 lakh cases that are currently pending across various courts. Next, capacity constraints pose a serious problem. Many ministries simply do not have the resources to manage litigation effectively. In fact, most ministries don't even have a dedicated legal cell. Another challenge lies in the narrow interpretation of statutory provisions. This often becomes the primary reason why grievances escalate into a full-blown litigation. And finally, there's the issue of non-fulfillment of procedural requirements. Something as basic as the improper or incomplete submission of forms, affidavits, and other documentation can easily turn into a legal case. So how does the directive plan to tackle these issues? Let's talk about the specific measures proposed. To begin with, it emphasizes strengthening capacity. This includes setting up dedicated legal cells and appointing nodal officers with legal expertise. There's also a push to make litigation-specific courses available on iGot Karmayogi platform, a step towards upskilling government staff. Another important measure is the grievance redressal mechanism. Ministries are instructed to review grievances quarterly and analyze trends based on compiled data. As an example, the Department of Post conducts staff adalats biannually at the circle level, a proactive approach to internal grievance resolution. And finally, the directive calls for the establishment of a government arbitration portal, much like the National Judicial Data Grid. This portal would be used to collect data and improve transparency and efficiency in arbitration matters. Now we look at a promising development from India's textile sector that blends tradition with progress. India's raw silk production has shown a steady rise from 31.9 thousand metric tons in 2017-18 to 38.9 thousand metric tons in 2023-24. This data, released by the Ministry of Textiles, reinforces India's standing as the second largest silk producer globally and the largest consumer of silk. Additionally, silk product exports have touched 2,027.56 crore rupees, marking a strong international presence. Now, let's understand the basics. Silk is a natural protein fiber produced by silkworms, particularly the Bombyx mori species. Sericulture, which is the cultivation of silkworms for silk production, forms the backbone of this sector. Silkworms thrive on leaves from mulberry, oak, castor, and arjun trees, and spin cocoons that are later processed into silk yarn and fabric. What sets India apart is the fact that it is the only country that produces all 4 major varieties of natural silk. Now, let's take a look at the types of silk produced in India, beginning with mulberry silk, which accounts for around 90% of India's total silk output. This type is predominantly produced in Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, and West Bengal. Following this is Susar silk, also known as kosa, which is derived from wild silkworms that reside on trees like Arjun and Asan, with Jharkhand and Chhattisgarh and Odisha being the major producers. Then comes Eri silk, often referred to as ahimsa silk due to its non-violent production process in which silkworms are not killed during reeling. It is mainly produced in the northeastern states, particularly Assam and Meghalaya. Lastly, we have Muga silk, which is exclusive to Assam, produced by the Antheria asmensis species, and is well known for its natural golden yellow luster and exceptional durability. Transitioning to the key reasons behind this sustained growth, we begin with institutional support. The Central Silk Board, headquartered in Bengaluru, is a statutory body which operates under the Ministry of Textiles and is instrumental in ensuring inclusive development of sericulture complementing. This is the Silk Mark Organization of India, or SMOI, which certifies genuine silk products and safeguards product authenticity. Furthermore, the International Sericultural Commission, also headquartered in Bengaluru, is a UN-affiliated intergovernmental organization that plays a global role in advancing the silk industry. Alongside institutional support, policies and schemes have played a vital role. The Skill Samagra and Silk Samagra 2 schemes are designed to focus on research, quality improvement, and technology transfer within the silk sector. Additionally, the Raw Material Supply Scheme facilitates subsidized yarn supply to handloom weavers. Another important initiative is the Samarth scheme for capacity building, which is aimed at skill development across silk, jute, handloom, and garment sectors, with an ambitious target of training 3 lakh people between 2024 and 2026. Moving forward, the rich diversity of Indian silk is also protected and celebrated through geographical indications. Examples include the Kanchipuram silk sari from Tamil Nadu, Muga silk from Assam, Mysore silk from Karnataka, and Bhagalpuri Tusar from Bihar, each representing regional expertise and heritage. And so, from enhanced production and supportive policies to rich traditions and ecological practices, India's silk industry continues to weave a remarkable success story. In a revelation that deepens our understanding of environmental pollution, a recent study published in the journal Nature has highlighted a startling fact. Plant leaves are absorbing airborne microplastics. Now, how exactly do these tiny plastic particles get into plants? The research points to natural surface structures such as stomata, which are small pores formed by specialized guard cells, and the cuticle, a wax-coated protective membrane. These structures serve as entry points, allowing microplastics to infiltrate plant tissues. Moving forward, the study identifies polyethylene terephthalate or PET and polystyrene or PS as 2 of the most commonly found polymers in plants. While PET is commonly used in beverage bottles and food containers, PS is typically seen in disposable cutlery and cups. But what exactly are microplastics? Well, they are defined as plastic particles up to 5 millimeters in diameter, while even smaller fragments, nanoplastics, measure less than 1000 nanometers. Let's take a closer look at their characteristics. Microplastics are persistent, highly mobile, and extremely difficult to remove from the environment. Notably, they have a large surface area to volume ratio, which increases their ability to absorb, attract, and hold substances, contaminants, making them more prone to fouling. Furthermore, these particles often contain chemical additives that accumulate over time in water bodies. Examples include bisphenol A or BPA, brominated flame retardants, and per- and polyfluoroalkyl substances or PFAS, all of which pose risks to ecosystems and potentially human health. When it comes to classification, microplastics are broadly categorized into 2 types. First, there are primary microplastics, which are intentionally manufactured small plastic pieces such as plastic pellets used in industrial production or microbeads found in personal care items like toothpaste, face wash, and cosmetics. On the other hand, we have secondary microplastics, which are formed by the breakdown of larger plastic items. A key example is microfibers, often shed from synthetic materials like polyester or nylon. Microplastics have a wide-ranging impact across ecosystems and human health. In terms of human health, microplastics have been detected in critical areas of the body, including human blood, lungs, placenta, and even breast milk. The food chain is also contaminated, with studies estimating that the average person consumes about 5 grams of plastic per week, WWF 2019. Furthermore, in the soil, microplastics reduce soil fertility and negatively impact both plant growth and microbial activity. The marine environment is equally affected. Organisms such as zooplankton, fish, mussels, and whales have been found to consume microplastics, contributing to a dangerous phenomenon known as biomagnification. With these findings, the study underscores an urgent need to assess the ecological implications of microplastic pollution, especially now that its presence has been confirmed inside living plant tissues. In today's Place in News, we turn our attention to Italy with its capital at Rome. Recently, Italy's Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister visited India, highlighting growing bilateral ties. Now, let's look at some key facts about the nation. Italy is located in south-central Europe. It shares borders with France, Switzerland, Austria, and Slovenia, and is surrounded by the Mediterranean Sea, including the Adriatic Sea northeast, Iron Sea southeast, Tyrrhenian Sea southwest, and the Ligurian Sea northwest. Notably, Vatican City, the seat of the Roman Catholic Church, is an independent state within Rome. Geographically, Italy is marked by the Alps in the north and the Apennines running down its length. Its highest point is Mont Blanc, Monte Bianco. Major rivers include the Po, Adige, Tiber, and Arno. The country experiences a typical Mediterranean climate. As we conclude today's main news, let's have a look at some quick updates. Union Minister of Electronics and Information Technology introduces new Aadhaar app. It is developed by the Unique Identification Authority of India and aims to simplify identity verification processes, making them as seamless as UPI payments. Users can scan QR codes at points of authentication similar to UPI payments. Union Minister for Railways announced that Kavach 5.0 will be implemented to upgrade Mumbai's suburban train travel. Kavach 5.0 is expected to significantly reduce the inter-train headway, enabling more trains to run safely and efficiently. The Kavach is an automatic train protection system designed to improve train safety and efficiency. India hosts 8th meeting of Joint Committee on ASEAN-India Trade in Goods Agreement, or AITIGA. The Association of Southeast Asian Nations, established in August 1967 in Bangkok, Thailand, is a group of 10 countries. AITIGA was signed in 2009 and entered into force in 2010. Bilateral trade between India and ASEAN reached USD 121 billion 2023-24. Sunbird, a nuclear fusion-powered rocket, could help reach Pluto in just 4 years, according to a report. Sunbird is a nuclear fusion-based rocket being developed by Pulsar Fusion, UK, and the Princeton Satellite Systems, USA. It is expected to help spacecrafts reach speeds of up to 805,000 km per hour. DRDO successfully conducts release trials of long-range glide bomb Gaurav. It is a long-range glide bomb weighing 1,000 kg class. Gaurav achieved a 100 km range with pinpoint accuracy, and it has been designed and developed indigenously. The US has imposed sanctions on UAE-based Indian associated firms for their alleged involvement in facilitating Iran's oil trade through the use of a shadow fleet. A shadow fleet is a group of ships that secretly transport oil for countries under international sanctions, using hidden routes and false documents to avoid detection and tracking. A study has revealed that certain lichen species can survive and remain metabolically active under simulated Mars-like conditions. Lichens are symbiotic association between a fungus and an algae or cyanobacterium. Fungus provides structure and protection. Algae provides food via photosynthesis. Chhattisgarh laid foundation stone for India's first GAN-based semiconductor plant in Raipur. Gallium nitride, or GAN, is a wide bandgap semiconductor material composed of gallium and nitrogen. Semiconductor is a material that partially conducts electricity, making it essential for controlling electrical signals in electronic devices. Before we sign off, let's challenge your understanding in today's installment of Test Your Learning. Thank you for joining us. We hope you found this episode of News Today engaging. For the solutions to the quiz and to access the PDF version of News Today, remember to visit the provided links in the description below.